Hi friends, welcome back to Scale Model Kit Review Studio, and welcome back to another episode of the Agora models of British SAS Jeep. Let's get started.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Welcome back, my friends, to Scale Model Kit Review Studio. This is Steve, and welcome back to another installment of the Agora models build the SAS Willy's Jeep. Now, this is 1/8 scale Jeep from the North African campaign. The British were highly successful with these Jeeps as raiders, and very interesting part of World War II when it comes to the North African campaign. So just to kind of show you the size of the boxes that I've been receiving here lately, very small, easy to fit in your mailbox or in the package delivery section of a mailbox. And this is pack number 6. What's interesting to note about pack number 6 is their new packaging style here. Very cool. We have almost like it's a meal ready to eat, an MRE. A nice paper package here, envelope with all the parts contained within. I know it's kind of hard to see, but they are in there. Very nice there. Very sturdy box, as you can see, and makes for a nice presentation actually when you receive this and open this up. A very welcoming thing there. Alright, so I'll be right back with all the parts laid out. And here are all those parts bags laid out here. For pack 6 I received 7 more stages, stage 39 through 45. 39 is building the gear lever. Stage 40 is fitting the gear lever. Stage 41 is building the transfer case levers. Stage 42 is fitting the transfer case levers. And stage 43, fitting the canvas cover and jerry cans to the bonnet. Stage 44, building the rear right wheel. And stage 45, fitting the rear right wheel. Okay, so remember, this Jeep has 2 spare wheels and tires. Let's go ahead and get started on stage 39, and of course I'll open up these bags for you so you can see all the parts in that. Don't forget to head over to Agora Models to view the build instructions, as no magazines or anything like that are part of this subscription. Go online and you have the option to view them right now. Later on they'll make them available for download, and they'll also have an attached video to go along with that. Let's get started. Here's the parts for stage 39, building the gear lever. I'll open this up and we'll see the contents inside. And here's all the parts for the jerry can. Also, we have our gear shift lever, and that's this right here. We have the boot for that and DP screw. Inside is the knob for the gear shift lever, separately protected, along with the caps for the jerry can. Let me explain the jerry cans to you briefly, kind of a little historical note here on these cans. So far in this build, we've assembled these jerry cans, and these jerry cans depict the U.S. Army version of the can, meaning they never had a seam down the side of them. So if you wanted to make the can look a little more authentic, you could actually fill the seam, sand it, and repaint. but with the U.S. Army cans, they always had the cap in the middle of the can on top. Now, we call them jerry cans. Jerry cans come from the German Army and the German fuel cans. Now, these cans are capable of carrying both water and fuel. Now, obviously, you wouldn't want to put water in this if it already had fuel in it. So if it came brand new from supply and they wanted to use water, you just put water on it, and then you would mark it appropriately that it has water in it. Now, the true jerry can is the German style or even the British style. Now, the British style jerry cans had a seam, kind of like a trench that ran down all the edges. Same with the German ones. The German ones had a seam on them. Now, looking at historical photographs of these, I see there's a mixture of both the German style or the British style fuel cans versus the American style fuel cans. Also, on the British style fuel can or the German style, the filler cap is on the right side here. It's not centered, it's more over on the right side. So if you look at the photographs closely, you'll notice that. So that's just a little historical bit on these cans. And if you know how most of the time the cans are distinguished having water in them, let me know either in the chat during the premiere of this video or in the description below or in the comments down below. I appreciate all your comments. Alright, the first thing we're going to do is assemble the gear shift lever, and it's simply going to go down. Just this is the bottom of the boot, so we're going to insert this through that, pull it through, and of course this is the pivot point for the transmission shifting linkage. And then we'll go ahead and insert our knob. It does have a flat end, so it only goes on one way. You may have to use your bench to push it down some. And there we go. So I had to ream the hole, make the hole a little bit larger on the knob to get it to fit, but it's a tight squeeze. No glue is required. Now let's assemble the jerry can. And here's all the parts for the jerry can. I'm going to assemble this off camera. We already saw how this was done in pack 5 and pack 4. And here's the assembled jerry can. Looks good. And our gear shift lever. So that completes stage 39. Let's head over and get started on stage 40. Here's the parts for stage 40. This time we're going to be assembling the gear lever itself, and these are the parts associated with it. Let's look to see what's inside. And here's a close-up of those parts. Of course, everything for another jerry can. Plus we have the components to mount the gear shift lever to the floor, DM and DP screws. Alright, so I brought over the floor. I took it out of the blister pack as I had left it in there for storage. So we'll flip this over and we're going to insert the gear shift lever on the left side here, and that's just going to mount down in there. Now you want to line it up with the grooves that are on each side. And you can see here what I'm talking about. Line it up with that. Next, we're going to go ahead and take our cap, goes on the end of that, and we're going to insert this cap here in that slot right there. Just like that. Okay, so this cap is going to lock the bottom of the gear shift lever in place. Note the flat edge here, where that goes. And 2 DM screws are going to lock that down. And tighten down these screws. Don't over tighten them because you could split the plastic and or break the screw. That looks good. And there's our gear shift lever. Now let's assemble the jerry can. And there's the completed jerry can. I did that off camera because we already know how it assembles. Looks great. So that completes stage 40. Let's get started on stage 41. Here's the parts for stage 41, and this is very nice recycle-friendly packaging now. Building the transfer case levers. So let's look at the parts inside. Again, parts for the jerry can and our transfer case lever with the boot and knob, DP screws. Assembling this lever, you'll note on the boot there's 2 holes on the front of it there, on the top. And notice how I'm holding it like that. So this lever is going to insert on the right hole, which is a smaller hole. Okay, just like that, all the way through. Perfect. And then we're just going to put the knob on next. And the jerry can has been completed. Looks great. So that completes stage 41. Let's get started on stage 42. And here's the parts for stage 42. This time I'll assemble the transfer case levers. Let's open up the envelope. DM, DP, and BP screws, our jerry can parts, and our, again, another transfer case lever. So with this, we're just going to do like we did before. We're going to install the lever through the other hole like we did before. Okay. Just like that. And then we'll put our knob on the end of that. And that's what that looks like there. Next we'll take and mount those through this base plate here. You can see that there. And it's going to slot into that. Just like that. And then we're going to put 2 screws into that, 2 BP screws, 1 on each side to hold those levers in place. And I put the screw on the other side there already. Now putting the other side on. These actually thread through the plastic base and make it so you can still move the levers back and forth. Okay, kind of like that. Now we're going to go ahead and mount this to the floor. Now I jumped ahead. This knob needs to come off. It's going to make it easier to install that through the floor. So we'll take and insert both levers through the floor here, and then it will line up just like that. The boot lines up, and we'll be putting in 2 of our DM screws into that. I got them both started with a little bit of oil on the screws. Now I'll tighten them down, not too tight, because once again this is a plastic base. Just snug. And that's what that looks like there. We can go ahead and put our knob now on our lever. Here we go. Now let's assemble the jerry can. And the jerry can is assembled. So that completes stage 42. Let's get started on stage 43. Stage 43 is the largest envelope in the pack. This time I'll be assembling the canvas cover and jerry cans to the bonnet, or what we call in the US, the hood of the Jeep. Let's look to see what's inside. Here's a close-up of those parts. This is the gas tank that mounts underneath the driver's seat. We have some plugs for that. We have some double-sided tape, and also a mount for, I believe, AFM screws. And here's our canvas cover. That's going to get rolled up and mounted on top of the jerry cans. You may have seen that in the photographs for the kit, but that's where that goes. Let's get started. This bolt and cap goes to the fuel tank. So we're putting the cap on top and the bolt on the bottom. Okay, I installed the cap and the bolt, and I went ahead and put a little bit of extra thin on the bottom side to lock those in so they don't pop out later on. And this is the extra thin I'm talking about from Tamiya. Next, you'll need to grab your hood or bonnet from stage 2, as we're going to install the straps that we got from stage 10. We're going to put 2 of them on the front here. And here's our straps. They are made of nylon cord there, metal strap, and it's actually going to mount to the front of the hood just like that, with 2 AFM screws to hold it in place. Now we got double-sided tape, and that's going to be used to secure the strap over the jerry can when it's installed. And these are beveled screws, the AFM screws, and they're going to secure the strap down. Be careful you don't over tighten these, as they could break also. That's how that looks. And both straps for the jerry cans are secured down on the hood. Next, they want us to take and just feed the strap through the front. Both of them like that. Next, they want us to take the double-sided tape and put it on the edge here. Okay, and I'm going to leave the cover on for now until we're ready to secure it over the top of the jerry cans. Next, we'll fold the canvas tarp, and we're going to fold it up just as the instructions say, like that. We're going to basically roll it. Just like that. You want to install 1 jerry can like that, and the other like that. Then we're going to take, and there you go, both jerry cans are installed here first. They're just loose fitting, and we'll take our tarp, insert that, just like that, and we're going to tighten it down with the straps and pull the tape. So I'm going to pull the strap down on top of that, kind of give a little security, and then we're going to secure it with the tape on top, just like that. And you can just see double-sided tape is visible, and wrap that around. Wrap this baby around again and secure it. Do the other side, same way. And there you go. The tarp and jerry cans are secure with those straps. That's what it looks like there. Next, I'm going to go ahead and install the 3 remaining straps on top of the hood. I'll get those installed and I'll show you what they look like. Alright, so I installed 2 of the jerry can straps, and this is looking at the hood or the bonnet from the back. Okay, you can see 2 of the straps are installed the same way. I would recommend you feed your straps through them just like that first before you secure them down. It just will make it easier for you to get the strap in the middle there in between. Now the other side is going to get installed the opposite way. It's going to go just like that. Okay. Alright, so all three straps are in place. I also put the tape on the end of the straps so we can secure the jerry cans in place. Go ahead and put the first jerry can in. I'll secure the strap down, but that's what that looks like after it's in. And that's what that looks like after it's been installed and secured with the strap. I'll go ahead and do the other two, and I'll be right back. And there you go. That completes stage 43. We have all the jerry cans secured to the bonnet or the hood. That's what that looks like there. It looks great. And we also completed the fuel tank that goes underneath the driver's seat. So that completes stage 43. Let's head over and do the final two stages for this build, stage 44 and 45, and that would be to assemble the wheel and tire and install the last wheel and tire onto the chassis. I'll be right back. The last stages for this video are stage 44 and 45. Stage 44, building the rear right wheel, and stage 45, fitting the rear right wheel. We have the tire inside of that. Let's go ahead and open this up and look at the parts that are inside. Here's the parts for stage 44. The wheel, made of metal, very nice, 2 halves. The brake drum, part of the hub for the wheel, CM screws, and then stage 45, of course, is the tire, very hard rubber, BM, OM screws, the spacer, and the cap for the hub. Beginning with stage 44, we're going to install the lug nut cap here onto the wheel, and it just press fits just like that. Then we'll go ahead and bring over the other half of the wheel, and we're going to install the drum. That's going to go down on top just like that, and 2 of those CM screws will go into that. And I used my larger WWII PH1 screwdriver for these CM screws to help torque them down a little bit better, but that's what that looks there. So that completes stage 44. Let's do stage 45. Next, we're going to assemble the wheel and tire. The wheels are 2 pieces, of course, and the tire is a very hard rubber. So to help us along with this process, I recommend you boil this for 3 minutes, and that should soften up the rubber enough to help us along with installing the 2-part wheel onto this tire. So I'll go ahead and do that, and I will be right back. Okay, I am back. Go ahead and unwrap this. I boiled it for 3 minutes. Very pliable now, very usable. That allows us to put the wheel on a lot easier. Now this is for the right rear tire, it is not the spare. We have 2 more of these we have to build for the spares. So this just makes everything easier here. Makes everything easy to line up your screw holes. BM screws go into that. A little bit of oil to help it along. And get them all started, then tighten them all down. And there you go. All 4 screws are tightened down. That's what that looks like there. It looks great. You can see the rubber is still very pliable. Makes it easier, definitely. So I highly recommend you boil your tires for 3 minutes. Let's go ahead and mount this to the right rear of the chassis. And I brought over the chassis. We're going to mount the tire to this axle here. And like I've told you before in previous videos, I like to start my threads first with the screw while the tire is off. It just makes it easier. I'll take my OM screw and put a lot of oil on top of it and get the thread started and back it out and put the tire on. These screws actually cut their own threads. And the oil helps it along. There's quite a bit of paint in this one, so we're actually cleaning out the paint at the same time. And it's important you thread it in as straight as possible, and pay attention that it's not going to get stuck or anything where you run the risk of breaking the screw off. They are soft metal screws. Clean off some of the end there. Clean this off a little bit. There we go. I'm also going to put a little bit of Vaseline on the hub, on the axle part. Give it additional lubrication there. Then I can go ahead and install the wheel and tire onto this. Next, I'll take the spacer. I'm going to put it on the screw, insert it in, and screw it home. I'm going to support the chassis while I do that. Not too tight, because you want it to turn still, right? I mean, if you don't want them to turn, you can crank it down, but it's all up to you what you want to do. I did mention the OM. It's an OM screw for that, and we can put our cap on. So that completes stage 45. I had a blast doing this so far. This has really been a fun pack. Pack 6 is a blast. Doing all the jerry cans on the hood, that was a lot of fun there. I enjoyed that. I'll be right back. And there you go. That completes pack 6. We installed our last wheel and tire. We installed the transfer case and gear shift levers on the floor. We worked on the gas tank a little bit here, but the big part was the hood. We installed all the jerry cans on the hood along with the tarp. Very nice. So if you think you'd like to get this for yourself, head over to agoramodels.com. I put a link in the description below. Sign up for it today as it is readily available. Do it now because they will sell out and they'll stop the subscribership portion of this. There are many ways to receive your kit. Pick the best option for you. So with that, stay tuned for pack 7 that will be coming in the near future. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope everything I did here in this video helped you out. All my tips and pointers here. So with that, if you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to smash that like button. It is absolutely free and it helps my channel out immensely. Please comment down below if you have any questions. And if you have any other things that you want to talk about, throw them in the comments. I really like to read your comments and I appreciate them. I appreciate all my new subscribers. I received a lot of you from a few of the streamers that I follow out there on the YouTube world. And you know who you are. I appreciate you subscribing to my channel. With that, happy modeling everybody, and take care.